Well, hello, this is Chase Swift, and some of you have just been introduced to CFX, and you're interested in learning about this one-time $300 payment for a lifetime of income from this automated system. And this is a special segment from a Zoom call I recorded with my sponsor, John Kinnear, and his downline member, Richard Maude. Now, Richard is in the UK. He's a very savvy online businessman, and this recording is the due diligence that he has investigated all about CFX, Cash Forex Group. So enjoy this webinar, and you can always request to see the full recording as well. So enjoy.
Always nice to tell your sponsor you have a better presentation than he does, I think.
I love it. Well, I like to, the thing is, because when I'm doing it, I just like to sort of, rather than follow a set, presentation, I like to sort of jump around a bit, because I think it just shows people that I'm looking at the business, not just spouting a verbatim presentation. I'm actually, giving my opinion on the business and other things. And the website's so nice; it's got some great things on it. So I like to do this. So John, probably in many ways, this is not necessarily a duplicatable system, because, of course, following the presentation is designed to give you a step-by-step process. But I just like doing it this way, because I think it just gets a message across a little bit stronger. So the first thing I look at is the foreign exchange market. And for those of you that don't know what the Forex market is, it's basically the differences between currencies around the world. So the British pound versus the Japanese yen. There's always those fluctuations, prices going up and down. And if you have any market like that, then you basically that you can trade that market and make money in it. Now, it is the biggest market in the world. It's much, much bigger than the stock market, the commodities markets. All the markets combined would be a tiny fraction of this market. It's a $5.3 trillion a day market. And one of the things for me, that was a key thing, because I often get approached regarding businesses that have good money in making opportunities. The problem is they're not scalable. There's not the liquidity in the market. And so what happens is, as the business grows, as the number of members grows, the market can't sustain that. And, that's everything I've seen from, cryptocurrencies, even Bitcoin. I mean, Bitcoin's only $100 billion market cap when you're comparing with a $5.3 trillion market with the Forex market. You've got other things like arbitrage and etc., mining. So this is a model that works for this kind of business. It's a huge market, and the banks use this market. They trade billions of dollars a day in it. And so again, it's a sustainable market. Now, the other thing that was a great appeal to both John and I when we first looked at the business, and is the fact that it's historically proven to be recession-proof, which right now is exceedingly important, because, of course, the world is going into a recession. I don't know what's going to happen. Obviously, it's the first time in history that business has just suddenly stopped virtually across the world. I mean, it's a very bizarre scenario. But the fact is, even in this kind of market, even this catastrophic market where the stock market and everything else is flying around all over the place, we've still got those differences between the currencies. And that means that you can trade this market. It's a decentralized market. There's around about 80 to 90 private or what's called retail traders around the world, people like you and I that are trading the market, but they only make up around 5% of the market. Then 95% is taken up by the banks and the institutions that know what they're doing in this particular market. Now, one of the other key things is there are flexible risk management strategies available in the Forex market. And again, right now, that is extremely important. Our traders.
One thing, if you don't mind I'm just going to make a quick comment, Richard, because people ask us how long that they'll be able to share CFX as a platform with their friends. And what you just shared there, I think really shines a bit of a light on how much long-term potential there is in building out this platform. You said 80 to 90 million retail traders around the world. And that is only comprising about 5% of the daily volume, 80 to 90 million. Imagine if they only had $1,000 in their brokerage accounts each, the amount of money that is, and that's only 5% of the daily traded volume.
Such a massive market, and that's so important. And the fact that we've got the flexible risk management strategies is also really important right now, because whilst there is obviously volatility in the market because of what's going on, that itself is not an issue. What is an issue is the fact that what's going on is unprecedented, and therefore we've got potential unpredictability in the market. And the way you manage that is by dialing the risk up or down. In a normal market, the traders will, traders do, professional traders, is they look at the markets around the world, they study what's going on, and from there they can get a good plan on how they can trade and the way they're trading to get the returns that they're getting. So in a good market, or a normal market I should say, what they would be doing is pushing the risk a little bit. So what they do is they constantly just push the risk just a little bit, and what you'll see is that you can actually make more losses in a market like that, but the bottom line is you actually make bigger returns at the end of the day, and that's what counts at the end of the day. Whereas in a market like this, where there is potential unpredictability, they can dial back that risk. So we might make less money, but what they're doing, they're protecting the fund. And one of the traders the other day, I think it was the lead trader, John Wilson, was talking about this, the fact that if they were trading their money, then they'd probably continue pushing the risk. But in this kind of market where there's potential unpredictability, the key thing is to protect the fund. So they're dialing back the risk slightly, which means that we're getting slightly lower returns. Having said that, we're still getting 5 to 6% a week of recent results, which, let's face it, in any market in the world is phenomenal, even in a good market, let alone in a market where we've got everything else going down the loop. So it's a huge opportunity from that point of view as well, because this is one of the few businesses that is really making money in a market where everything else isn't. The other thing is this: what Cash FX do is they leverage our money to maximize the gains, which is basically what the banks do. If you look at the banks, when you deposit your money into a bank account, it may be a relatively small amount of money, but that money is then used by the banks, it's pooled, and they trade that money on the Forex market, and they make billions of dollars a year, where they're giving their customers, say, 0.5% at the end of the year. So it's kind of insulting when you look at it that way, the way they're making all the money, because we know this is why the banks are so wealthy. They don't make their money from the fees. The fees are nearly nothing at all. That probably just covers their admin costs. They make their money from using our money to make money. And that's basically what Cash FX are doing. And they're using our money to make money, but unlike the banks, they're actually sharing it with us. Now, one of the first things that we asked when we looked at the company, because it's a pretty obvious question, is how do we know that Cash FX is trading and the results are real and that kind of thing? And the first thing you do under those circumstances is you look at the broker. And again, I get pitched all the time on projects, and what I see is companies that have got brokers that are in-house or unknown brokers. That's a real red flag. Now, there are brokers out there that are non-regulated or have minimal regulation. They are reputable as well. But what they do is they've gone down that route because it's less restrictive in their business practices. Whereas EverFX, which is the broker that Cash FX use, that is at the premier end of the brokers because they are multi-regulated. And EverFX is an internationally recognized, multi-award-winning, multi-regulated broker. They've been voted best new multi-asset broker, best online CFD broker. They're currently regulated by CFX, which is the Cypriot authorities, which covers most of Europe. And they're also regulated by the Cayman authorities. And they're currently going through the process of being audited and reviewed by the FCA, the Financial Conduct Authority here in the UK, and also the, I think it's the South African authorities. And the reason they want to be regulated by all these countries or these regulatory bodies is so that it opens up different markets for them. The thing is, the reason they've gone down this route is because when you put your money with Cash with EverFX, you're looking at a company that is as multi-regulated. It's like putting your money into a bank account. It doesn't get better than that. So this is a high-end company. This is why Cash FX are working with EverFX, because they know that the money they're putting with this company is safe. Now, there's a great video. If you haven't seen it, it's an 8-minute video and I'm sure John can get it to you, of the COO, which is the Chief Operations Officer of EverFX, standing on stage and talking about his background. He's been in multiple businesses over the years, a very experienced individual. He talks about why EverFX is being regulated and the way they're going through that process. But he also spends a bit of time, the only way you can describe it is strongly recommending Cash FX. He basically talks about the fact that he's seen many, many traders over the years. And just so you understand the relationship between CashFX and EverFX, EverFX, as the broker, they hold the money. So the money is deposited with them. CashFX makes the trade, and then EverFX instigates those trades. Money in, money out, wins, losses, etc. So as the broker, they can see firsthand exactly what CashFX are doing. They can see how much money they're trading, the way they're trading, and how successful that is. So to have a regulated broker, and remember that is someone that is currently being audited by probably one of the most restrictive agencies in the world with the FCA, to stand up on a stage and recommend CashFX the way he does, and as I said, you can, when you watch the video, you'll see there's no pulling punches here. He strongly recommends the company. He talks about the fact the way the company, what they do is very special. It's almost like the markets come to them. He talks about the owner, one of the owners, Edwin, and the fact that he trades without emotion. I think he uses the term magic. This is very high praise indeed. And from a company that, as I said, is literally being audited at the moment, for them to do that, he must be absolutely, no ambiguity, 100% certain that CashFX is doing what they're saying they're doing. Because there's no way that they would recommend any company that wasn't doing that, bearing in mind they can see firsthand what is going on. So that's a key thing. Once you understand that, there is no ambiguity there. The results that CashFX are getting are real. And the fact that they're also going to be launching what's called copy trading in a couple of months just enhances that. This is again a project they're working with EverFX on, and what that means in the next few months, members will be able to actually set up their own broker account directly with EverFX, and then CashFX makes the trade and your broker account will copy that trade. So this is a really powerful aspect, and one of the reasons why I emphasize this so much is once you understand that the trading is real, the results that CashFX are getting, then everything else basically flows from there. The rewards plan and how that works and everything else. And I know for a fact that John has done a lot of due diligence on this, gone through everything with a very fine-tooth comb. There's no way he'd become the marketing director of a company that wasn't a model that was going to be sustainable long-term. Now, the other things I look at from a due diligence point of view is who's behind the company, and and I look at various things. What's their background? Do they have any black marks against them? What's their business capability? Are there someone that can run a business successfully? Remember, when I invest in a startup company, this is something that I look at very carefully, because if I'm going to invest 100 or even 200,000 pounds into a project, I want to know the people that are managing my money are going to be people that can take the business forward. And Huáscar Lopez, one of the owners, I mean, he's an exceptional individual. He's a young man, but don't let that fool you. He comes from a highly educated background. His father is a lawyer. His mother is a professor at a university. And he himself was studying medicine, but switched to a business degree because that what he felt was his leaning. And considering his age, he is an extraordinarily successful man. He is worth hundreds of millions of dollars. In fact, I would suggest that he's on his way to becoming a billionaire. He owns huge tracts of properties, land. He has business ventures, all of them successful. So he's very, very switched on what he does. He's also very successful in Bitcoin trading. He recently cashed out $90 million worth of Bitcoin, and he's still got tens of thousands of Bitcoin still on hold. And he also, and this is a key thing, has a very successful background in network marketing. So if any of you have ever been involved in network marketing before, it's really important to have an owner that understands the industry. And Huáscar has been very successful in this arena as well. I mean, he's just a generally very successful guy. So he's someone that really understands the business. He set the business up specifically to help people build, and not just top income earners. Many of these businesses out there, they have these rewards plan that just pay the top people and everyone else doesn't make any money. This is a business where everyone makes money. Even if you don't do anything, you can still make money, really life-changing money with CashFX. This is exactly the way he set it up. In fact, John, you were having a conversation with the other day when he was saying that all his other businesses have been put on hold. His focus, he's laser focused on CashFX. And you've seen firsthand the way he's working towards this business. He's planning 5 years ahead. He's investing millions of dollars into the project, like the new headquarters, the new trading program, which they're going to be launching, accredited training program. everything from bringing the payment processor. We've had since I've been with the company 9.5 months, not had a single issue with the reward payments. Absolutely none there at all. And same thing for everyone in my team. I think they've done 70,000 successful payouts without a problem. But again, Waskar being Waskar, that's not good enough. He's bringing the whole process in-house so he can control it. And even the lawyers as well. I mean, again, world-class lawyers. The securities lawyer that they're working with, for example, is based in Washington, D.C., and they're the ex-securities arm of the SEC. So, I mean, that doesn't get better than that, to have the lawyers that used to be the litigation arm for the SEC. And they are currently in discussion with the SEC to make sure the company is 100% compliant in that market. So everything you see with this company, and since I've been involved, everything they've told us we would get, we got. They've never missed a beat. They've been, well, just world class. I mean, I've been involved in the industry for 20 years, and even established companies are not as good as these guys and what they're doing. So Waskar is a seriously good captain of the ship. The other owner is Edwin Naban. He specializes in the trading side. Again, another very successful businessman. He had a very successful engineering company. He's a multimillionaire, but he's also a world-class trader. And this is the guy that the COO of EverFX is talking about, and how special he is as far as trading. And again, this is a guy that's seen thousands of traders over the years. So again, high praise indeed. And remember, this praise, for them to be doing that, considering the fact that they're being audited and stuff, can only mean one thing, that they are generally mighty impressed with what they're seeing. So just some stats, 20,000 active members. So again, the company's still new. There's a huge market to work into, as we were talking earlier, 100 countries, 71,000 successful pairs, and 100% proprietary technology. And what that means is the company, again, I've seen other companies in the Forex market, and there's always red flags when you see companies in the Forex market. You look at their drawdown, which is their risk. They have very high risk, which often means they're going to blow your account. They usually have bought in a bot from a third party. The thing about bots is if they're not set up properly, you just switch them on and work. They will work for a while, but the markets change, and all of a sudden they stop working. So it's really important. So these guys, they've developed their own proprietary technology, and I'll talk a little bit about that in a minute, because again, this is all important to sustainability. So you will recognize this chap here on the left. There's John, is the marketing director, which is great from my own personal point of view. To have John actually working directly with the company the way he is fantastic, because it means that I'm directly communicating with the company all the time. And as I said, it's when I get the feedback from John, what he's seeing firsthand, you just know we've got a really good ship here. The traders, again, these are world-class traders. Been trading for many years. John Wilson is the top trader in the business, world-class trader. John Lerstop is the engineer in the team. And again, he has a very important role. He is the guy that is developing in-house technology, the EA, which is Expert Advisor and AI, artificial intelligence. And it's basically the systems that do the trading, but backed up by the traders themselves. So what these guys do is they look at the market, and they see what's going on around the world, and they constantly tweak this technology. So it's not just a fire and forget product. It's constantly being tweaked depending on what's going on around the world. And I understand in the next few weeks, there's going to be a big upgrade they're working on at the moment, which is going to be launched. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens there. But effectively, you've got a highly effective system. I mean, past results, guys, are no guarantee of future results. I mean, that's the trading world. But, since I've been involved with the company, we've had returns of anywhere from 5% up to 13%. So incredibly impressive results from these guys. So they clearly know what they're doing. And as I've already mentioned, they've recently just dialed back the risk slightly, just because they're trading our money, not their money, to make sure they're protecting the fund. So it's exactly what you would expect to see from a world-class trading team, which, as I said, it clearly is, because it wouldn't be as strongly recommended as it is via by EverFX. This is another person I like to talk about as well. again, this is all, when you're doing due diligence, you look at various aspects of the business. And, this is another tick box for me. Ron Pope is a very, very well-known businessman. I don't personally know him, but I know people that do. He's based in the US, again, very successful guy. He's set up and run multiple companies over the years. He's also a business consultant, and he takes on projects where companies are struggling and he turns them around. And he's also the co-founder and president CEO of the Conversion Pros. Now, this is an internationally recognized company. They work with Fortune 500 companies around the world, and also many network marketing companies. They're based in 60 countries. And basically what they do is everything to do with the back office, effectively everything from custom software development, back office portals, commission tracking, online marketing, etc. So they are heavily involved. They're like the spine of any business that they work with. Now, if you have a company that has taken on the Conversion Pros, because they are known as a premier global software company, they're considered to be the best of the best. That means that company is spending a lot of money on the infrastructure and wanting the very best. And those of you that have been involved in the business, you'll see. But remember, we're talking a company that has been now around for sort of 10 months. To have the standard that we have is exceptional. This is the guy. He's the reason, or these two gentlemen are the reason why we're the Conversion Pros, because they are the best of the best. So when you see a company with these guys, it's a huge tick box. But it goes beyond that, because Ron has worked with many network marketing companies over the years, just in the background. He's not anything to do with the company up front. For example, his picture would not be on the website. It would just be maybe a little comment, the fact that Conversion Pros are involved. But in this company, he's actually seen what they're doing. He's been so impressed that he's actually put his name to the business, and is actually out there building the business as an affiliate. So he's actually become a member. He's actually building a business, putting his name, his company reputation on the line. And of course, he's someone that is ideally situated to see exactly what's going on, because he is effectively the background of the company. And of course, John, you've been working with him as well and been mightily impressed, haven't you? Finally,
and Jamie's great too. And keep in mind, their team is also more than 50 coders. So it's the extensive team with the heavy burn rate.
Yeah, exactly. It's not cheap. It's a top team to have on board. And finally, and by no means least, on the due diligence side, again, this is an online business, and a lot of online companies, they don't even have a headquarters. If they do, it's often a leased building. And again, CashFX are not doing that. They're putting their money where their mouth is. They've actually purchased the whole 9th floor of RBS Tower, which is a prestigious building in a prestigious part of Panama City. You can see it in the background there. So again, this is the actions of a company that is doing it right, setting up for the long term. Carolina Venturi here is the architect on the project. John, you've actually visited the offices, haven't you? And been
I met Carolina also. She was there when I was there.
All right, excellent. So again, currently, I understand they spent around $2.2 million on the project so far. And when it opens in the next month or so, it'll have the most advanced trading floor on the whole of the Southern Hemisphere. And they're going to have an open door policy where people can literally turn up on the door and they'll be shown around the offices and shown the action. So just in summary, just on the due diligence side, when you look at any opportunity, and the important thing is this is business, guys. There's no such thing as a 100% guarantee. I wish there was. When I put 100,000 or even 200,000 pounds into a project, I really wish that there was an absolute guarantee that I was going to see a return on my investment. No such thing. But you can minimize the risk by doing your due diligence. And when you look at this company properly, there are no red flags. Every box is ticked right the way down, from the fact that they've spent $2.2 million on their headquarters. So this is a company that's not in for a quick kill. This is a company that's going to be around long term. The fact that they're working with internationally recognized, multi-award winning and multi-regulated broker that is strongly publicly recommending them. The fact that you've got a team of people that have a highly experienced background. So it's just tick, 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 tick. And that gives you the foundations to then look at the business moving forward with regard to your confidence in putting purchasing a contract and building from there. So that's the due diligence side. John, do you want me to continue with my normal presentation, or do you want to take over now?
That's a Chase.